Hello, this is Dr. Hui Liu from San Jose, California, United States. My email is IBridgePy@gmail.com. IBridgePy is an easy-to-use Python platform to help traders to build algorithm trading robots. It can backtest and live trade with interactive brokers, Robinhood, and TD Ameritrade. You can download IBridgePy from www.ibridgepy.com. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel because more tutorials are coming.
I'm going to talk about a feature in IBridgePy Backtester to make backtesting much faster. From version 13, IBridgePy Backtester does not require ingest historical data before backtesting anymore compared to the previous IBridgePy feature, IBridgePy Backtester. However, this tutorial, I'm going to talk about speed up backtesting by retrieving historical data before backtesting starts. In another tutorial, we talk about backtesting without specify any historical data. The backtesting went well, but it took longer because every time IBridgePy needs to retrieve historical data from interactive broker. In this tutorial, I'm going to talk about add HistIngestionPlan into testme.py file so that IBridgePy will retrieve historical data based on HistIngestionPlan and save the retrieved historical data in local cache and supply historical data to backtester when needed. Then I will talk about a new feature, which is save historical data to local file for future usage. Then we'll talk about the pros and cons. The pros, let's talk about pros and cons after we gave you a demo to the code and give you a real-time demo about backtesting in IBridgePy. So first, I would like to talk about the strategy we're going to backtest. This strategy is called close price reversion. And this strategy is very simple. The basic idea of this strategy is if yesterday's price is higher than today's close price, which means there is a price drop at the end of today's trading day before market close. If there is a price drop from yesterday to today before the market close, then we assume there is a price reversion, which means tomorrow's price will go up. Then at this moment, before the market close, we place an order to long the position, which means we want to buy. And in this strategy, we want to buy 100% of the portfolio. If today's price is higher than yesterday's price, which means there's a price jump, then we think it's time to sell off our portfolio. Because yesterday there's a price jump and we got benefit, then it's time to sell. This strategy is here. There are two basic functions. One is initialize. In this function, we define shared variables in IBridgePy. So we have a variable called context.security to define security, which is the ticker is SPY, which is ETF to track SP500 index. We use SPY as a demo. And there's a IBridgePy function called schedule function. This function is in IBridgePy is to schedule other functions to run at specific time. In this example, it takes three variables. The first one is called daily function actually, and this is the function name. we define daily function name here, which means we want to run this schedule to run this function at some time. And there is a date rule and a time rule. The date rule is what day you want to run this strategy, want to run this function. The day rule is every day, which means every trading day, because weekends we don't trade. And the time rule defines when in a day you want to execute this function. And we said we want 1 minute before market close. And this is the time rule. So which means this function will be triggered 1 minute before market close every trading day, which is 3:59 p.m. Eastern Time, because the US market closed at 4 p.m. And we assume the price at this moment will be very close to the real close price. And daily function is the function where the trading decisions are really make. So first, we print out the time when this function is triggered. So we use an IBridgePy function called getDateTime. And then we request historical data. Because we only need a daily bar and we only need yesterday's price, so we request historical data of SPY, and we want daily data. We want to go back 2 days. The close price is this. Yesterday's close price is this, and today's close price, even if the market is not closed, but we assume at this moment the price is very close to close price already. If close price today greater than yesterday, we want to sell, so we use an IBridgePy function called order target percentage. Otherwise, we long this position. And this is the strategy we are going to backtest in IBridgePy. Test me. This example is backtesting without ingest historical data before the real backtesting. We have a detailed explanation in this tutorial already. So if you want to know more about the explanation, you can go to this tutorial here. However, at the beginning of a new introduction about TestMe, I want to run this TestMe without hist injection, so that we know what kind of problem we are trying to solve. So let's just run this one. This one is the easiest, no hist injection. And in this injection, in this backtesting, we start from the current time. We start from the ending time is the current time right now, and the starting time is 10 days ago actually, not 50 days, because we want it faster. And we didn't ingest any historical data. Oh, the backtesting is done. The backtesting, you can see there's injection, the data injection starts and completed is empty, which means backtester did not ingest any historical data at all. So when it starts to backtesting, it starts from December 15th to 24th. However, we saw many warning messages said cannot find this historical data for this contract. We want to go back 2 days, and the bar size is 1 day. Because in our strategy, we need the close price of yesterday. However, we didn't ingest any historical data, so that IBridgePy actively requests historical data from IB, but recommend to add HistIngestionPlan in testme.py. And you can see also IBridgePy requested 1 minute data at 3:59 p.m. because our strategy needs to get historical data, get real-time price at this moment and compare with yesterday's price. However, IBridgePy does not have this data, so that it goes to interactive broker to request historical data and also recommend to add a HistIngestionPlan in testme to speed up. We can see a lot happens like this, because every time IBridgePy needs a historical data but it does not have it, it issues a warning that recommend to add HistIngestionPlan in testme. And if the backtesting time is long, for example, if we go back 50 days or even 2 months, the backtesting will take much longer because every time IBridgePy needs to go to broker to request historical data. So we need to improve that to make backtests faster. This time, I'm going to talk about testme with historical data ingestion. From here to here is exactly same as this test plan, this testme.py file. However, I added this part. This part I need to do a little bit explanation is, so in this part, I use a special reserved keyword in IBridgePy which called HistIngestionPlan. This is a reserved word in IBridgePy, which means don't use it in your code or somewhere else because IBridgePy will look for this variable. This variable will be used to store the historical data ingestion plan. This plan describes what historical data are needed during backtesting. And IBridgePy backtester will fetch this data before backtesting to speed up the whole backtesting process, which means IBridgePy got this historical data and save it into computer cache and use it for backtesting. And because the data is saved locally in local cache, which means the backtesting will become much faster instead of fetching data from broker every time when it's needed. As we explained, HistIngestionPlan is not required for backtesting, but is recommended because it will make backtesting much faster. Okay, HistIngestionPlan, how to create it? Actually, when you need to import a class called HistIngestionPlan, because this one is class, so it's capitalized there. And we use historical plan. This is an instance of this class. So this one is instance already. An instance is a concept in Python. It's not an IBridgePy concept. It's basic Python object-oriented programming concept. So after we have this HistIngestionPlan, we use a function called .add. This one is the function inside HistIngestionPlan. So we use this .add to add individual plan. Each individual plan means we want to get this historical data from broker. And there are 3 required variables. First is security. We use symbol to define security, bar size, and go back. Here, to backtest this strategy, I added 2 historical HistIngestion plans. One is SPY 1 minute, go back 40 days. The other one is SPY bar size 1 day and go back 50 days. I want to explain why these 2 plans are added. I want to explain this one first, because this one is more straightforward. In our strategy, as I explained before, we need historical data daily bar go back 2 days in our strategy. So that if we don't want to get historical data from broker, then we need to have it. That's why we need a daily bar. Go back 55 days, which because we want to backtesting for 50 days, which means we need at least 50 days of daily bar to do backtesting. However, we need to add a little bit more because when we do backtesting, the very first iteration, which means the beginning start time, then at that moment we still need to get historical data for 2 days, which means even if we request 50 days, we may not have enough historical data for the very first start time. Depends on our strategy, what strategy means. In the buy low, sell high strategy, we just want the yesterday's price. What if you want to do the moving average of 60 days, which means at the start time, we still need 60 days historical data to calculate moving average, which means even if we give it 50 days, it's still not enough if we want to retrieve historical data. If we want to calculate moving average, go back to 60 days. So my point is you need to prepare historical data for your strategy and considering what are really needed, thinking about the start time at that moment, what kind of historical data you need. So be prepared to get enough data because strategy need daily bar. Okay, this one add a plan which needs minute bar, go back 40 days. It's a little bit confusing at the beginning, but think about the buy low, sell high strategy. At 3:59 p.m. at that moment, if we want to place an order, then we need to know the price at that moment to do the simulation or backtesting. However, we only have the daily price, which means just a high, low, open, high, low, close. Based on daily bars historical data, we have no way to know the price at 3:59. So we need to have minute bar, and we need to know the price at 3:59 if there is a transaction on that day. Let's go back to here. For example, in the backtesting on December 18th, 3:59, there is a transaction to buy 270 shares of SPY. And backtester needs a price at that moment to simulate the whole transaction. And this price is retrieved from interactive broker. You can see IBridgePy has to request 1 minute bar at this time from IB to continue backtesting, which means this price was retrieved by IBridgePy backtester from interactive broker. So in summary, I need a minute bar to simulate the transaction price, even if in my strategy I don't literally ask for minute bar price. And this one is to define the daily bar, because in our strategy we need daily bar. However, here go back 40 days instead of 50 days or 55 days, because there are two reasons. First, interactive broker does not allow users to get minute bar go back too many days. I tried 1 day, 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, 40 days, and it's still successful. I tried 50 days and it failed, so that I decided to choose 40 days. But you may come up a question, is 40 days enough for backtesting 50 days? Let's run it, and we can see the result by ourselves. So let's run the testing. So testing started and the data ingestion starts. It takes a little bit of time because IBridgePy backtester will retrieve historical data of this plan, and this plan. You will see the result will be displayed later. As long as the historical data are ready, backtesting will be very fast compared to the other test strategy. I mean the default without hist ingestion. Okay, starts. The backtesting starts. You can see, okay, let's review the testing here. So in data injection starts, ingested hist of SPY bar size is 1 minute. And the first line is October 29th. The last line is December 24th. Think about our first simulation is November 5th, which means the minute bar data is already covers this time. Why it happens? Because the 50 day does not count holidays and weekends, so that 40 day is enough for, and this 50 day is a calendar day. If minus weekend and holidays, so this one is good enough to cover the backtesting. And then we can see the backtesting. Okay, then we come back the daily bar. You can see we requested 50 day, and the first line of the daily bar historical data is October 8th. And our first simulation time is November 5th, so that we have enough daily bar to cover the backtesting already. And data ingestion completed. Then the backtesting started. Starting from November 5th and started until December 23rd. And we can see it goes through. If there's transaction, then transaction happens as we expected. Then if we go to tools, portfolio Sharpe ratio, and start this one, run the charting, we can see the performance is as we expected. Okay, pretty good result, looks promising. Then there's still something we can improve actually. What if I run this strategy again? What will happen? So IBridgePy backtester will retrieve the exactly same historical data and run simulation. As every time when I run it, IBridgePy backtester will retrieve the exactly same historical data from broker. So what if we save the historical data to local and use the local file for the next testing? That will be much better, so we don't need to retrieve data from broker anymore. So how can we make it happen? In IBridgePy, that's very easy. What you need to do is add a value, say, which called save to file equals to true. And then that's good enough already. Let's run this strategy. Run it. Oh, not this one. I want to run the backtesting. not. So with hist injection. Let's run it. It will take a while because you will see 50 days, minute bar go back to 40 days. It really a lot of data. Take a look about the simulation, and the results are exactly same as we expected. However, in the data injection section, we see two new lines, saved hist to this file. So let's take a look. Is in the IBridgePy folder, the input folder. We have an input folder. I have a few input folder, but these two new files are saved here. We can see 1 minute 40 day, 1 minute 40 day, SPY, SPY, exactly here. And the other file was created is SPY 1 day 50 day. It's right there. Let's open it up. Take a look. So there are 55, 50, 56 lines. If we exclude the header, there are 50 days, exactly 50 days. Open, high, low, close, volume, and the first one is epoch second as the index. That's good. Let's open up this one. Same same structure, same header. Let's check how many lines we retrieved. Wow, it's 241 lines. Many historical data. But how many minute bar data we really used? Think about how many. Probably just 50. We request a lot of historical data, and we just used 50 of them. We have some way to improve it later. It's time to talk about the pros and cons of this new testing feature. So right now, we request historical data and save it to local. The backtesting is faster because we supply historical data before the real backtesting starts. However, there are a few cons in this strategy. For example, what if we want to backtest this strategy back to, let's say, 1 year? So the problem is Interactive Broker does not provide 1 minute bar go back to 1 year. There are 1,500 bars, minute bars, if we go back 40 days. And if we go back 1 year, there will be a lot of minute bar. And that's huge amount of data. Pretty much the broker will not provide you that data. Think about what if we want to backtest this strategy for 10 years? How can you do that? So if you want to purchase minute bar data from, let's say, a third-party data provider, you need to pay pretty much, you need to pay some money, at least some money, for that minute bar data. But in reality, for this strategy, you really don't need too many historical data, actually. So to improve the backtester, the next feature I'm going to talk about is to supply historical data from local file. Local file, which means you can retrieve historical data from any other third-party data provider and save the historical data to local file and use it for backtesting in IBridgePy.
Thank you very much. For any questions, please send an email to ibridgepy@gmail.com. If you need any help on coding, please check out our well-known Run a Coder service. More tutorials are coming. Please don't forget to subscribe. IBridgePy is an easy-to-use Python platform to backtest and live trading. Thank you very much.